very extensive background, and it ranges from sales to marketing, promotions, you name it, this is your girl.
It's a learning process for sure.
Absolutely. And, you know, with learning, how did you actually come to the point where you said, you know, PR is it? This is the thing I want to do. And what kind of motivated you to take it a step further? Because you could be doing exactly what you're doing, working for a company right now, but you decided to do something a little different and take the entrepreneurial route. So why PR, and what kind of motivated that leap into entrepreneurship?
Well, I think I've always been the girl that I've always been an entrepreneur. I have tried to work for people before. It doesn't work out well with me. I just kind of want to do my own thing. And, you know, both of my parents are entrepreneurs. Both of my grandparents are. And so I've just, it really hasn't, for me, it really wasn't a question about making that decision. It's just kind of natural for me.
Right.
It doesn't scare me to take a leap of faith. I believe in that. I think life's too short. You need to take that plunge. And why PR? I mean, I love it. And I would never work for anyone but myself. I have a 6-year-old daughter. So it's been wonderful to work for myself and to be able to take her to school every day and pick her up from school every day. I feel like I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I can have a full-time job in a company. So I believe in being an entrepreneur and working for yourself. I just think it's the best. It gives me peace, you know, and you're just able to do what you want. But public relations and marketing has kind of always been my thing. Ever since I was a little girl, I'd have lemonade stands or make friendship bracelets and sell them on the corner. You know, I loved it. School was a little tough for me. I'm a tough learner that way. I can't focus on books and study, and it was not my thing. I was always a worker, and I've always been that way. And so I tried college. It wasn't my thing. I want to go back and finish for my daughter one day, but
awesome.
I've always worked. So I had a jewelry line when I was younger, and my Aunt Kathy inspired me to do it. She's a jewelry designer in Seattle.
Aunt Kathy!
Yeah. She's my godmother, who I just adore and love so much. And she had this great jewelry line, and I just wanted to be like her, and I was very creative with it. And so I made jewelry and sold it and marketed it and had it in stores in California. And that was great. And then I, got bored, as most entrepreneurs do.
Yes. You want to go to the next thing that pops up in the mind.
Yeah, that makes you happy. And my ex-husband, actually, who is one of my best friends, he is a professional skateboarder. And so I helped him with sports marketing. I love sports marketing. And so I helped him with endorsement deals and, product placement and a bunch of his stuff. And it's what I love is marketing. And then I worked for a clothing designer in LA, Cabby, Carol Anderson. She used to sell to Nordstrom's and Neiman's, and she changed to direct sales. So my mom and I actually started together. My mom is a huge role model in my life, and so she decided to do it, and I thought I need to do it as well. So I was a sales consultant for an independent sales consultant, and that was marketing and PR as well. It was different back then. The social media wasn't as big, and we were actually not allowed to I couldn't even put Cabby on social media.
Wow.
They wanted all the sales consultants to have an even playing field and to make it very fair. So it wouldn't be fair for me to do all the social media when another woman doesn't have the means to do it, or I couldn't do an article in a magazine. It wouldn't be fair. So it was all about relationships, and I kind of worked my way to the top of that, and I did it for 7 years, and that was my longest running stint in a business. Hopefully Plan B will be my longest, but and then I just realized I wanted to start my own PR firm.
Yeah.
So I did.
and it seems like you're doing really, really well. And I know one of the pivotal things that you said is that you're a worker and you're not afraid to take risks. And I want to kind of transition into that in my next question, because I know several women right now, and you're probably watching, who desire to kind of get out and start their own business. They're currently working for a company. but they're still in that dreaming phase. They're dreaming about the life as an entrepreneur. They're dreaming about how glamorous it could be, which we know it's not so glamorous side. And they kind of get stuck sometimes in those self-limiting beliefs that maybe they need to be perfect. Even though they really want to do it, they get stuck because they think that they have to have it all together.
Right.
They have to have a perfect plan. They have to have a perfect life in order to really get out there and launch this business. So can you talk about, how it was for you in the beginning? What got you from just being a dreamer, because we all were there at one point, to actually putting
and we all are still. I think
your
it's
goal
so good
into
to
place.
still have that dream. Gosh, that's a good question. I've never really thought about it. I mean, I definitely think you do need to have a plan. So if a woman's working, which I did it, and my mom's done it, where I had to support my family.
Right.
I've never been in a position where I didn't have to work. I've always had to work and support my family. So when I started my business, I was still selling caddy. So I think it's smart to, unless you know that you're in a position where you can just jump in, that's awesome. But if not, I was able to still work part-time with caddy while I built my Plan B PR. And actually I did it full-time, so I did caddy full-time, and then at night I was building my Plan B PR business. So, it's definitely was around the clock for a while. But I do think, like you said, it doesn't need to be perfect. There's never, it's like they say with having a baby, there's never a right, of course there's a right time, but you're never right. Yeah, it's just life happens and it goes on, and you just kind of have to do it. And so I believe in a business plan and a plan.
Right.
I don't think you necessarily need to have this extensive, plan and meet with the planner and do all that. If you saw my business plans, you would laugh. It's like 3 bullet points.
It's an action plan.
It's like my 1-year plan, my 5-year plan. But it's basic, but it works for me. So whatever works for you
that's a very good point.
Is what will work. know, and so I do think a little simple business plan, whatever it is that you're doing. Like for me, for instance, with my PR firm, I knew I just needed, it didn't have to be fancy, it just needed to be simple, but I needed a website, to say my services, to give a little background on myself, and to just, you have to have them go somewhere.
Right.
And being in PR, nothing bothers me worse than when a company starts and then they put something up there, whether it's their business card or their logo, and then within a few months it changes because it's like, okay, something's off. In my head, they've already tweaked things, and it's just, the confidence isn't almost there, so it's like kind of whatever you start with, make sure it's what you want.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just think don't overthink it.
Yeah.
I talk to my mom and my brother all the time about this because they overthink things, and they know that. And I think, it's maybe good. My brother did a focus group with some friends. When he was going to start his business, and he gathered 10 of his friends and did a small focus group, and I thought that was just a great idea. But just put your plan in place and do it. Life's too short, and there's no better time than now. And what do you have to lose? That's my thing. What do you have to lose? Unless you're investing a ton of money, but still, like, it's not that hard. Yeah. And when you're passionate about it and you love it, it doesn't feel like work.
It doesn't feel like work
at
all.